Hey, this is my Marriage Boot Camp Reality Stars recap review. Fate Comes Knocking, Season 3, Episode 7. Right off the bat, Roger and Jenny are going back east for an event for Jenny. So you know how I feel about talent leaving production, but it's not my issue, it's not my fight. Tanisha now gets a phone call from her agent that she has a job. And I'm going to be a little petty and say I can't believe that she is getting work and I am not. So there, you saw my dark side, my jealousy. But there you go. I wish I was getting work. Anyway, we go into our first exercise, which is Release Me. And they've done this every season. This is where you confront someone from your past that you need to forgive. And they kind of do some role playing. And the goal is to really let that anger go. So the big ones are, so we open up with Slade, which I just don't feel was authentic. I'm sure he is absolutely 100% devastated by his son's sickness and he wants to confront God. I can't explain it. I can't really justify it to you, but I just felt like he thought that would make him look best, and so he went with that, or he said things or something, because it just didn't feel like a real moment, at least not to me. It felt forced. So that's just my interpretation. I'm sorry. Gretchen, on the other hand, has to forgive herself for her bad choices. They barely gave that any air. Kevin forgives his dad for not being there. Tristan and Ryan confront Ryan's ex. Clive is actually mad at Tanisha. So I kind of understand. And let's see. I feel like there was one more. And then, of course, Tanisha has, we give her kind of a hard time, but she has some really jacked up stuff from her childhood with the abuse that she suffered, and you can see how all that anger that she has stems from that experience, that ongoing experience. And then of course her father dying after she told him, and the guilt associated with that. And I really do feel for her. She definitely really needs this experience, even though there's a lot of problems going on for her. Now we get into something we haven't seen in previous seasons, which is about making choices. I mean, we've seen that, but it's set up differently. We have to make two choices between a selfish and a selfless choice. And the idea is that if both people in the couple make the selfless choice, they'll end up together. Otherwise, they're going to be confronted by themselves and their selfish choice. So we see Gretchen and Slade, and it's, her options are either motherhood or Slade, and his options are either healing himself or Gretchen. Well, she's supposed to pick Slade and he's supposed to pick healing himself, and they don't end up in the same spot. She picks motherhood. He does not. So they're not together. Kevin and Tracy, it's about her career, and he chooses to support her career and she chooses to pick him over her career. So they're together. They both made the selfless choice. Now Tristan's was kind of weird because her options were Ryan, how he is now, or Ryan, the way she wants him to be. But she gets him either way. So I kind of feel like, you know what I mean? And then his is the same thing. He can either be the man he wants to be or the man she wants him to be. So they don't end up in the same spot. But I don't feel like it was the fairest of the two options because she got him either way. And I guess so there. And then Tanisha and Clive both have to choose between their career or their partner. And they both choose their own career. Which is kind of funny because Tanisha's like, who do you think you are picking your career over me? And she picked her career over him. Anyway, we see Jenny and Roger get back. There's no final evaluations, but they do take Clive and Tanisha in for these interviews that we see in between all the scenes. I don't know exactly how they do theirs. When we filmed, we tried to get them as often as we could, and we usually would pick the individuals who had the most to say based on the particular episode. So I'm guessing they do it a very similar way, where she gets real hands and she kind of like slaps him and punches him and pushes him, and then she says she thinks she's having a heart attack. And Ryan comes rushing in because he's an EMT, and she seems a little bit like she may not be sure where she is. Her father did die of a heart attack, so they're taking this very seriously, and everyone's very upset. Now, two things I want to say. One is, every single episode we have seen one of the wives hit one of the husbands. And I'm always having an issue with it, okay? And it's always bothered me. Now, this season, I feel like there's more outrage over her hitting him than there normally is. So I kind of don't understand why people like there's not a lot of consistency. Like previous episodes, I felt like I was one of the few people yelling, you know, this is not appropriate, this should be addressed, you know, you never lay your hands on someone else in anger. But for some reason this season, it seems like everyone's upset about it. So I don't quite know what's going on, but I do agree. I wish they addressed that you should never be touching someone with malice. So there you go. So looks like she's back next week, but we'll know more when we see the episode. Okay, see ya.